One of the biggest misconceptions is that people think that it doesn't matter what you open, you can just open anything on the avenue. It could be a nail clipper store to buy nail clippers and pluckers, and you're going to just automatically be rich. And you're going to be so busy. And that's not the truth. You have to really get the customer to want to come in your door, and not even just that, spend.
Brian, thanks for coming in, bro.
Yes, of course. Thanks for having me.
You seem so nervous.
Well, like I said, I've never done any podcasts before, so.
All right, that's number one.
Yes.
We got another one, Cooks.
First time for everything.
Popping cherries all the time in this place.
Yep.
Love it. Congrats on Berks County Living, dude.
Well, thank you.
I saw your article. I actually received it this morning. I was reading through it.
Yeah, I was very honored and almost kind of confused when the editor reached out to me for it. I felt as if I wasn't quite sure why they even wanted to feature me in the limelight, but I guess there's a lot of things that I'm doing that they, were impressed with. So
yeah, you do a lot of the things with the kids. I mean, I love your place. I've been there with my family. Mm-hmm. I still have the Gnomie. Mm-hmm. Actually, I brought the gnome to my RV trailer, and it may or may not house my de-stressors.
Oh, there you go. I mean, they are for outdoors, so,
Yeah, dude, I love it. I just go into the, if I want to go into the trailer, I just take off his little top. I'm like, ooh, which one do I want today?
I'm telling you, and you can do so many different things with them, and the gnomes are huge right now.
I love gnomes.
You're going to see gnomes at the Dollar Tree. You're going to see gnomes at Target. Basically, every store that you go to is going to have gnomes of some sort, whether it's dishware now, hand towels.
Yeah, they're everywhere.
They seem to be the in thing. Yeah
I dig it. I dig your shop. I love what you're doing over there. I love at the very core, I'm creative. Mm-hmm. Obviously I started the business, and because everybody has to make a buck, we got to figure something out. But it was very calming to go to your place that day. I mean, even though it was Mother's Day, it was last year, I believe. And I keep telling myself, bro, like, why don't you just leave work one day and just fucking go to Brian's? Like, literally say, fuck this website. Fuck all the ads you got to do. Mm-hmm. Go to Brian's, grab a freaking gnome. Yeah. Just paint the shit. He's going to talk to you.
Yep.
Just relax and just sit there and paint.
You can bring in lunch. You can bring in drinks, order in.
Yeah, we went. You were providing, it wasn't Mother's Day, but you were providing sangria that day.
Yes.
It was tasty.
Yeah, we provide sangria sometimes, regular wine, cocktails. We do have the Under the Boardwalk cocktail stroll this Wednesday.
Under the Boardwalk?
Yes.
What's that about?
It'll be very beachy themed. I think that it's us kind of trying to come up with different themes for things, because a lot of the customers are bored with just the regular wine walks. So we came up with Under the Boardwalk. So we're anticipating that everyone's going to have like cocktails or, wine that's themed from the beach, or things for that day that are going to be beach themed. I'm going to have beach balls all over in the studio, and be playing, Beach Boys music, and serving this amazing lime cocktail that I found on the internet. But I do those things because I want to make them a little bit more special when you come into my shop. I like to serve things that you'll remember, and things like that. Yeah.
I dig it, man. So reading your article this morning, I was reminded of how you told me, I think when I first met you, because I met you actually because you were awesome. You took a tree in for the Awesome Toy Drive. Mm-hmm. And I think you reached out to me. You were like, yo, I want to be part of this toy drive.
I did. I saw that silver tree, and I said, that needs to be in my studio. And I knew that you were a part of it, and I wanted to join in on your tree drive because it was you that was doing it, and I knew that it would be successful. So.
No, I appreciate that. You've been doing it ever since. We're 2 years in with you guys. Yes. It's freaking awesome.
Yes. Hopefully next year it could be our biggest collection.
Yeah, I'm hoping Berks County Living listens to this and realizes they need to do a big article on the Awesome Toy Drive.
I mean, it's an awesome, it's an awesome project that you do, because you do get a lot of the other businesses involved. And I think that is a big thing. It's not just coming from you. And you're not just saying, oh, I did this. You are really having a lot of people, come together and make more of a bang for your buck with that.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's local, and it's local kids. Like, why wouldn't you want to help? And not to say that any kid doesn't deserve it, but, it's local business, local kids. But reading that article, You were, and excuse me if I don't remember the exact title for it, but you were a shopper or a dresser for Bloomingdale's.
So I was their executive personal shopper, and it's such an interesting, funny story because when I started at Bloomingdale's, I was a holiday seasonal help, and I wanted to work there so badly, and I loved everything about that entire building, and the history of Bloomingdale's, and how they were one of the first department stores in the United States, and the whole family vibe that it came with. And there's a lot of structure working for them. I learned a lot of what I use in my day-to-day from Bloomingdale's. And I quickly became number 2 in the store in sales, I think in like 2 months. And they obviously had to hire me as a full-time person at that point. And it was funny because I would look around and I would see all these other associates that were amongst me standing there. And they hated me because I was taking every single person that came in the department because I didn't want someone to walk into Bloomingdale's and not get service. Mm-hmm. I didn't want someone to walk in and not be greeted. You know, those are all those little key factors that really play into all of our individual daily, you know, businesses and day-to-day life. And it's so important to instantly get that interaction with the customer. And if not, it might be negative. And if it's negative, then that's going to impact you. So I literally was like a vacuum with every customer that came into my area. I literally snagged them up, started them fitting rooms. I was pushing things in the fitting rooms that I thought they should try on, and my sales just went through the roof. Yeah, and then they hired me as the personal shopper, which is the craziest part. The first day that I had my onboard training and they gave us a tour of the entire 4-story building, I went home and said, Mom and Dad, I am going to be this older lady when she retires. She's the personal shopper. Her name's on the wall. She has her own office. She has an assistant. And it happened. And it was because I really manifested that. And I truly like live by that whole entire, it's a big thing for me. But yeah, Bloomingdale's was definitely a big part of my life and growing up and learning about the business industry and clienteling to an extreme. I mean, I always wanted to write books on clienteling because, you know, I came into your studio and there were so many awesome things about it that I will never forget. I could have came in here and it could have been a plain room with a plastic table and 2 mics. And you have so much character in here, which, you know, tells me about you, and just there's just so much more. So you definitely are awesome with your your interior and things like that. And I just think that,
Thanks.
Well, I went with that. There was somewhere I was on a tangent.
But you said that you like manifesting things. So did you read the book?
The Secret?
Yeah.
Yes.
Are you big into that?
Well, I was years ago.
I'm big into it because I just read it only maybe a year or so ago.
Really?
Yeah, I'm a Johnny come lately with that book.
So you're late on the trend because I was all about it when Madonna and Britney Spears were wearing the red Kabbalah bracelets, and they were all about Kabbalah and The Secret and manifesting things. But then I feel like for me over the years it kind of just died out.
Why do you feel that way?
I think as I got older and had more responsibilities and more things to do on a day-to-day basis, I kind of lost that extra time that I had to be more spiritual or to be more connected. If that makes sense.
That's interesting. Yeah, I feel like I'm using it more now than ever because of my future goals. Because I'm like, I keep telling everybody I'm going to retire at 50. They're like, bro, that's awesome, but that's like not that far away. And now recently I started changing it to 48. Right. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck this. Why I got to wait till 50? Who says 50?
I wish I could retire tomorrow.
Well, I wish I could have retired yesterday.
I'm so tired. It's like, I don't get it. Yeah. I think it's just, I think it's the era we're in and the people and after COVID and after all the things that have happened in the world, it's just a different place.
It is a different place. And it's kind of weird for me, man, because, you know, I grew up a Catholic. And I am not a Catholic anymore. I'm not a practicing Catholic. I think it's hard to get like the Catholic out of you, you know, when you went to, I did 9 years of Catholic school, was an altar boy, the whole fucking thing. I don't go to church anymore or anything, but I feel like.
Not even on Christmas?
No, I don't go to church, dude.
Oh, wow.
No, I'm done.
I only go on Christmas and Easter.
It's cool. It's funny. I always notice that about people. They want on Christmas and Easter, but Catholics have a name for the people that go on Ash Wednesday and Palm Sunday. We used to call them AMPs because it's just a supermarket. I remember those days, but I don't know, man. I just, I guess I don't believe in the book. It's like, dude, I'm sorry, man wrote this thing. It wasn't.
Well, it's hard to believe in that whole entire realm when you have so much bad things happening in the world around people.
Yeah.
You lose your loved ones or your parents or friends, or, your business closes, or, you get a disease or whatever it might possibly be. And you think, well, where was God for this? Or where was my faith coming in to help me with this? And, the people that pray the most and go to church every Sunday religiously, I mean, they're not protected. They're not, immune to the things that happen to us. So right. I think that's why also people have a hard time truly believing in that faith or continuing that faith into their, older years, is because you start to see that life is harder and it's not fair as you get older.
Well, life's definitely not fair, but so I guess you believe in God.
I believe in God because I link it to my grandparents, which is obviously linked to my parents, and family is, obviously very important to me and to everybody. And when my grandparents passed, my entire family fell apart. My grandmother was the captain. We had to go to church on Christmas Eve. We had to go on Easter. We had to do specific things. And the moment that she passed, you started to see how everyone started to do what they wanted to do.
Right.
So, I mean, there have been things that have happened in my life and everyone's life that you sit back and question, like I said earlier, how could God be real? How did he just let that happen to me? But I mean, I tried to keep telling myself he wouldn't let that happen to me if I wasn't able to handle it. There's a reason why he put that in front of me. I might have lost the love of my life, as an example. But there's a reason for that, because I'm going to learn something from it. I'm going to be stronger. Just like trial and errors with businesses, there's things that, I could say, oh, come on. I could look up and above and be like, come on now. Like, are you serious? Like, I'm working how hard, and it's not, this one section of my life is not working. Like, why? It might not supposed to work that way. It might not supposed to be. So I guess I do believe in God or a higher power of some sort, because I think that gets me along. If I wouldn't have something to believe in, I think it'd be a scary place for real.
Yeah, I definitely believe in faith. I don't know. I have a hard time with the book, man, like the Bible. And the Bible says this, and I'm like, well, if you really want to take it word for word, and God made us in his likeness and image, then why is there all that bad shit about, let's just put it out there, like gay people? Why was there like a big thing about gay? I'm like,
it's
weird. That doesn't make any sense to me, bro.
It's weird. Then you have some Catholic congregations that accept a gay man or a gay woman, and then there are those that don't, and that are very against it. So it is weird, because you have everyone around you like, we need to be positive and we need to embrace God and everything that comes our way, and the Bible and this and that. Well, the Bible was quote unquote written how many years ago? I mean, look at all the differences. We've come to such a huge, what's the word I'm looking for? We've come so far from where we once were till now that it's almost like the Bible needs to be rewritten. Like the Constitution in a way needs to be rewritten.
I'm with you on that, but I just feel like if you're reading the words correctly, there should be no issue.
Right.
Like, I'm like, it doesn't matter who the fuck you are.
Right.
Right. But yet there's all those issues. And then, like you said, of course, issues with the church. I know I believe my sister, she gave up when the pastor or somebody actually went up and was like, you need to give like 10% of your pay to the church, and my sister was like, what the fuck, dude? Because she was going through like a tough time, and she's like, the crazy thing is that in that position, when you're a person that's going through some shit, and you're looking for faith, you're looking for hope, you're looking for a reason to get up every day, and then there's one place that you thought you could go to every day for that then scold you for not giving enough. You know, that's the thing that bothered me about all that shit. Is like, because if God really exists and is who he says he is,
He would accept all of us.
this is all bullshit. All of it's bullshit.
It's all control. And it's funny you say that. So my mom, I won't say what church we go to, but, and actually the lady that was in charge just passed away, you know, God bless her, but she was there since I was little. And, you know, me, my brother, and my sister-in-law, we don't go to church. Obviously, we're all very busy. My mom will send in money into our envelopes with our names on them. So she pulled my sister-in-law aside and said, come here. She said, don't lie to me. Are you coming to church, or is your mother-in-law putting money in these envelopes for you guys? Yeah. And my sister-in-law, she works for Brewers, and she's fierce, but she's very conservative and quiet. She was thrown off by that one. And I don't even know actually what she even said to her. I think she didn't want to lie to her, obviously. Was, you know, scared that the kids wouldn't be able to come to CCD, which is that catechism. Yeah. And but the point of that is that they really hold you to a very high degree. They want your money, they want your attendance, and they want you to do it their way. And like I said, it's all about a control thing.
Yeah, fuck that. I do it my way.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing that bothered me. I'm like, you know what? It's funny is when you read the Bible and you read that story about when Jesus goes to his father's house, and it was all these people selling shit in the front of whatever. He got pissed off and threw that shit out there.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, did you pastors read that? 'Cause it's kind of funny how you're asking me for a certain amount of money when there's a fucking story in the Bible talking about that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand.
It's hypocritical.
You
it
think?
Is. Yeah, it's. I'm telling you, it doesn't make sense. And actually, I've seen a few different Bibles that are very different as well.
Yeah.
And I will admit, I have a problem with. You said to me, "Do I believe in God?" Well, I am Catholic. But, you know, you could be Jewish. My neighbor could be Lutheran. There's a million different religions. My problem is I have a hard time understanding and expressing this and explaining this to a child. Is there that many different Jesuses and gods? There can't be one religion that wouldn't make sense, because there's 1,000 different people and we all have our own ways of believing and you know, praying and XYZ. But how is there so many different ways that go with each God? That to me makes me feel like it's all for money. It's all for control, you know, and I think I realize those things, or question those things, as I get older.
Well, yeah, it's all about power, right?
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, when you start really going through all kinds of things and experiences that you have, you finally realize, oh, it's just about power.
Yeah.
Do people just want to have power over
it's their personal agendas. I mean, the church obviously wants everybody to be a specific way, and
I mean, shit, thousands of years ago they were killing people.
Yeah, they would stone you. I mean, they were doing crazy things to you, and
in the name of God.
And you know, I hate to say this, but you know, and I hate to bring these types of things up, but you know, you're not so holy when half of your congregation and your priest and things are doing explicit things with children and getting arrested, and then the Vaticans are being investigated. And I think that over the last couple of years, faith has dwindled.
Yeah.
Religion has dwindled. I think that the Vatican and all of that has lost all the respect it ever had because of all of the, you know, child issues that they were having with the priests and the kids. And so I don't know what will happen even moving forward in the next couple of years. I don't know if in the next 20 years, will religion be a thing? Will churches still be collecting money and people going on Sundays?
I think it'll always be a thing because you listen to your parents.
Right.
So you know, there's people that they're not just God-fearing people, they're parent-fearing people. So they want to do what their parents say. But I mean, I know we went to this crazy religious point, but you make such a good point about the grandparent thing. You know, it's sad, man, because when you said that, I was like, fuck, it's like we had the same life. Because like my grandparents, my Nana, you know, she was like, yeah, the glue, like, you know, you had to go to Nana's on Christmas at some point, or, you know, you had to go together and, you know, you had to do this and that. And the second they pass away, man. Yeah. I remember my Aunt Mary, when it happened with my grandmother, because my grandfather went first and my grandmother just a few months later. And she was like, don't ever be like us. And what she meant was, her siblings and her cousins were never, they never talked. They were always so far apart. She's like, always be close to each other, always talk to each other, always blah, blah, blah. But the sad reality is once they passed, it's like I saw Mary on Sunday. She's like, oh my God, Freddie, I haven't seen you in like 10 years. And I'm like, fucking 10 years? Like for real, for real? And then I started thinking about it. I'm like, maybe she could be totally fucking right.
Well, people don't do family reunions like they used to.
And that's one thing I really love about, and like, don't take this offensively, but like African American families, like I mean everybody listening, they have like the best motherfucking parties, dude. Like with the family reunions. I'm like, how come we can't do that shit?
Well, and so since you're on this, I have always been more drawn to. I mean, I went to Governor Mifflin, and I lived in this area my whole life, but I've always been drawn to Spanish females as my friends. They just always have. And, even when I've dated Spanish men, and their families, there's something about the families that, and like you said, don't take this offensively, anyone that's listening that's white, but what they're, white parents, sometimes they are a little bit more strict and a little bit more quiet and cold, if that's even the way to say it. But then
quiet and reserved, maybe.
Yes, and
because if you ever meet Spanish parents,
they love me. I mean, I was getting text messages every other week, like, we got you this, we got you granola at the store, we're making patillos, we're doing this, come over. And they were so welcoming to who I was, and they embraced me and they loved me, and I still speak to them all the time, even though it's been years. So there's definitely a difference with that welcoming feeling and that love with different cultures, because
for sure,
that's definitely it.
I love it, man. I always sit there and think to myself, I'm like, Fred, you should do something. You should do like a family reunion or set it up or try to figure it out. But then it's like add it to my list of shit I got to do.
Well, we're doing one this year, and we're doing it at the Shillington Park, because that's where we used to do them 20 some years ago.
Sweet.
But the park is different now. Everything is closed off. There's not playgrounds like there used to be, because everything is just changing. Even the Moton playground, it's been so many years since they built that it's almost falling apart at this point. And everything needs to be kind of sprucened up and freshened up.
Yeah, families. I always realize that when I see my family in New York. Like I went Sunday, they had a party for my dad, turned 67. You see your aunts and uncles. You see them getting older. You start to realize you're not immortal, and it's fucking sad, man.
It's scary.
It bothers me a lot. Like it starts to, even talking about my dad, man, it fucking bothers me a lot, because my dad's still here. He's still rocking and rolling. And my wife's like, you got to relax.
Right.
But I just keep watching these fucking shows, man.
Yep.
Where like the dads are passing on. And I'm like,
Yeah, there was this song that came out. I think it was like, How Do I Say Goodbye by, I have to look it up.
I want to fucking talk about that shit.
It's always on the radio too, and I have to change it because it's about a guy singing about his dad.
Wait, was that James Blunt song that the Hawaiian dude covered?
It's Dean Lewis. It's called How Do I Say Goodbye? And he gets a phone call from his mother that the father passed and he had to come home. And it's just like this song that, like, I'm going to get the chills now. It talks about how his eyes matched his dad's eyes, and how do I forget that? And like things like that. And it's just, it literally chokes you up. It's just such an emotional song. You have to listen to it.
Later.
I'll send you a screenshot.
Later.
Maybe when you're driving home later.
No, it sucks, man. It's a shitty part of life, dude.
Yeah.
It's fucking like, and I'm watching all these shows, and like even like Succession, right? Crazy show on HBO. Finally, the last episode was Sunday, and believe me, this is not a sensitive show. It's some fuckery going on. But the last episode, there's a scene where the children are watching a video of their dad just eating dinner. Ugh. And he's since passed on, and I'm just like, I remember when my brother found footage of my grandfather, like after he passed, and my brother was like, hey, look, I found, Papa Victor, I found a video with him on it. And I remember my dad standing there, and then my dad just walked away, and I knew what was going on, and we looked at my brother like, did you really have to put that on now, But it's like,
Yeah, but those memories are good for you, though.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, but I just, like you always sit there and go, oh, what's going to happen? And, you got to be the strong one. Like I'm watching this. I'm like, well, who's going to be the strong one? Like, I'm like, it's probably going to have to be me, and I'm like, that's going to fucking suck.
Yeah.
I'm not, that's just, fuck, anyway. So, art room, painting.
Yes.
It's like, God damn. He was like, going,
Yeah, we went all over. That's usually how I work.
it's like, what the fuck? I want to ask you one thing, though.
Yes.
You did say in the article that you dressed for Creed.
Yes.
So tell me about that, dude, because I dig that movie. I love Rocky. Like, I grew up with Rocky 4 was the shit when I was a kid.
Right.
It's like, what was that experience like? Give it to me, man.
I'll be very honest with you. It was a shit show. It was hell on earth. It was probably the scariest moment of my life because that was not a service that I actually did through Bloomingdale's. It was actually called Studio Services, which was based out of the Manhattan store or the San Francisco store, which are big satellite stores that they were doing movies out of. And because that Creed was being filmed in Philly, they obviously utilized
New York?
Philadelphia instead of New York.
Okay.
So I was thrown into that. I did not know how to ring up the sales or the merchandise. I didn't know how to. I mean, I knew how to meet with the people and to pick out what they were looking for and to give them the best experience and whatnot. But I didn't know how to. The back end of the administration parts of this thing that they gave me and the training was an email. And so I wasn't even using a register to scan in the items that they were taking home. I was using my computer, typing in little barcodes. It was just a mess. I made so many mistakes, but they would take home rolling racks of clothing at a time, and we would walk the store. They would tell me what they were looking for, specific scenes of movies, if it was going to be an outdoor scene where people were arguing or they needed wife beaters and they needed cashmere beanie hats. Sylvester Stallone never wore the same beanie hat. They were cashmere, 100% from Bloomingdale's, from the Bloomingdale's men's shop that were $199 per cashmere little beanie. And I had to order him probably 50.
Wow.
Because he would wear one and they would throw it away. So it was interesting. But so they would come in, we would go all over the store. We would pick these rolling racks of clothing. I would psychotically input them into this weird program and they would leave. And they had 2 days to bring it back to me or to let me know what was going on. And if not, it would be charged to their accounts. So I could be making $10,000 commissions on 1 week, physically 1 week. And that would just be from one client, let alone all the other clients I was working with. So it was interesting because a lot of things that we would pick out that they would specifically want, specific actors or Sylvester Stallone or other individuals in the movie would not like them, and they were the final say. So they would come back, those items. So, I mean, it was stressful because, I never styled a movie. I never assisted on styling something like that before. I did Andy Reid, Tammy Reid, Eagles, Flyers, Phillies, ABC, Tracy Davidson, all kinds of other individuals. But this was different because this was Sylvester Stallone. This was Creed. Like, this was Apollo. Like, this was just like so much things that went into it. This is Rocky. So, this was pretty epic for me. And I probably was shitting my pants every day, like so nervous, not able to, make sense when I was formulating sentences. But like I said, it was very hard. It was a shit show, but I did learn a lot. I wish I had help, assistance to really help me be able to make that whole entire realm of things with studio services easier. But, I got through it. So
Do you have do you get credit in a movie or anything?
I don't even think that I don't think so. I think that, so they had stylists that were paid from them and they utilized Bloomingdale's as a service. So I'm not necessarily sure that they would even that they got their clothing from Bloomingdale's.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It would basically be those individuals that were contracted through them and that was them picking us. Yeah.
And what'd you do for Andy Reid?
Oh gosh. Well, I never shopped for him because he was made to measure. So everything that he ever bought actually had to be made for him. I shopped for his wife, the kids. I did shop for his wife while they were still with the Eagles and when one of the sons actually passed away in the training camp. And that was the most terrible time ever. Because I was close with Tammy Reid and she was an amazing soul and still is. But to watch an individual who was so cheerful and so full of life slowly fall apart because of something so tragic that happened in her life, it was hard for even me to watch. But we still are in contact. She is with the Kansas City Chiefs now. They actually just sent me their newsletter that's actually 2019, 20, 21, and 22. They bulked a couple years in a row because of COVID. They didn't send them out or whatnot, but it was nice to still get that because clearly I'm still in communication with them. But I mean, everything I would shop for them would be anything and everything. Birthday presents, home decor, bath towels, lingerie, whatever would be needed for their everyday life, I would be picking out.
So they just she would just call you or email you and say, hey,
She would
Brian,
text
I need
me.
fucking bath towels.
Yeah, or she'd be like, hey, I'm coming in tomorrow. Do you have an hour of your time? And I would say, hey, yes, no. Can you come at this time, that time? She would come in. I had different relationships with different customers. If you were coming in to see me, I already know that it would be a very different relationship because you and I would probably walk up to the men's department together and walk around and look at things together and also talk shit together. Well, some clients would never do that. They want to come in, they want everything in their fitting room set up and ready. They want to try it on, they want to leave. And that's it. They don't want to hear about my, outside drama. They don't want to hear about my love life. They don't want to hear nothing. Other customers, they're going to tell me that their husband's cheating on them and they don't know what to do. And they're here spending money because fuck him. Right. So, like I said, it was just very different person to person. And also that was a big lesson for me too, was to be able to manage and change the way I was, literally appointment to appointment.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was wild times there.
It's like you're a therapist.
I was. Oh, I absolutely was. And actually that was, I'll admit, I hate to say this, that was one of my only downfalls. And every time I got my reviews was my time management, was because I would be talking to customers for forever. I wasn't able to get them in and out because they were so into me and they trusted me and they just wanted to tell me everything. I mean, one of my customers was cheating on her husband and I knew him as Ice Cream. That's what we called him, Ice Cream. She would text me and say, Ice Cream's coming in today to see you. It's my birthday. And that was her Mr. So it was, I really was connected with these customers and they really put a lot of faith into me and trust. From there, like I said, their home decor to their towels, their dresses, their evening wear to their marital issues. So it was fun. It was, but it was very stressful for sure.
And now you're here.
Now I'm on Penn Avenue, which to be honest is very stressful as well. It's not easy. I can compare it to King of Prussia in a very weird way. Some people might not be able to understand that analogy, but it is a very difficult avenue. Very, very difficult. Yeah. You can't, people say to me all the time, oh, I want to open this and I want to open that on the avenue. I just want to be rich like you. And I'm like, good one. Like you're on something funny today because
why do people think we're rich?
I think that they think that we're on Penn Ave and they think that we're all millionaires. Literally.
I wish.
They see a festival, they see a busy weekend, they see you interviewing all these different individuals, you working with all different clients, and they just think that you are about to go buy a Maserati tomorrow.
That'd be awesome.
Wouldn't it? But, I think people forget that we have businesses in the most expensive area in the county.
Yeah.
My rent is 2 mortgages. So, yeah. I wish that I could go build a mansion because I could at this point with what I'm paying per month.
Right.
But,
Exactly. What I'm laying out could probably build a fucking mansion.
Yeah. And, it's funny, the other day I did the math and I said, well, I'm almost in this 3 years. What have I given my landlord in almost 3 years? And I could have died.
Bro, you actually did the math on that?
It was way over $100,000. And I just think to myself, like, oh, give that back to me for 5 minutes. Because that'd be great, yeah.
Oh, dude, that's the thing. Like, and it's funny, I was talking to my Cookie about it before. I was like, I think people think that because we own our own businesses, we can do whatever we want. It's like, no. Like, I know it seems like it. I know I can do something at the drop of a hat because it's an emergency or like, sure, I can do those things.
Right. You
have no fucking clue.
No. And, it's funny. I got into a little weird altercation, which we won't say with who. Another business owner on Penn Avenue. I was at dinner with, one of their children, and the child was moving away and was having a going away party
Okay.
and wanted me to attend it because we were friends, obviously. And I said, I really wish I could come, but I own a business and I'm having staffing issues. And to be honest with you, every time I leave my business and I go to a family function or even just have 1 second off, which is very rare, I get a bad review. And it's because my staff is working and it's because it's not me. And it's not the same personality. It's not the same enthusiasm. It's not the same, drive. Like I'm not going to, so it's just, it sucks to say that, but so it's like I have to be there. But when I did go away, I lost my train of thought now. What was I even saying?
You were talking about hanging out with
kid
going away.
So I said that I couldn't go away because I owned a business, and the father said to me, "Well, no, you don't. You don't own one if you have to work in your store. You are a worker." And I thought to myself, like, I'm sorry, can you repeat that to me again? Because that's the entire avenue. We all work in our stores. We're not Target. We're not corporations. We're not even small businesses. We're smaller than small businesses, and it really threw me off because I thought to myself, like, okay, so this business owner thinks that I should have a full staff. And he said to me that until I have a full staff and I can leave and it self-runs itself, then I don't own a business. And I thought to myself, like, that is not the way this works because we have to be in our businesses. Mm-hmm. Like I said earlier, if I'm not there, I'm going to get a complaint. If you're not here, who's running this? Do you know what I mean? Like, you might be able to go away for the weekend, but you're not going to be able to go away for the weekend the day before because I call you and say, hey, Freddie, let's go to Atlantic City for the weekend. Oh, the day before you're calling me? I have events this weekend. I have customers. I have this. I have that. Like, I can't just pick up and go. And if I do close my door and I do put a sign on there, because I can and you can, because we own them.
Technically.
We are going to get drugged somehow. It's going to be an issue, because that's when the customer wants to come. So.
No, I'm with you, man. But that's the common thing, man. It's common. But the rich thing is funny because there's a lot of that going on. I'm like, no. I was like, no.
It's a misconception.
I wish, but very far from
I mean,
it.
you have the ability to make endless amounts of money if you think about it like that and manifest it like that.
I love that.
But it's not an easy place to own a business. You have to really, and that's what I spoke about in my Berks County Living article with my interviewer, Sarah Matella. I said to her that one of the biggest misconceptions is that people think that it doesn't matter what you open. You can just open anything on the avenue. It could be a nail clipper store to buy nail clippers and pluckers, and you're going to just automatically be rich. And you're going to be so busy. And that's not the truth. You have to really get the customer to want to come in your door, and not even just that, spend. We are in a recession. People, I think, are pretending it's not here. It's here. We're here. We're in it. I mean, I'm witnessing it on the Avenue. I watched our Art on the Avenue Facebook event has 3.3 thousand people interested. This time last year would be 15-some thousand interested. So you can start to see the dynamics and the numbers and everything, whether it's events, concerts, anything. They're all dwindling because, like I said, I think we're really starting to feel that we're in that recession. And I think COVID money ran out too for a lot of people.
Yeah, but do you think we're in a recession because we're in a recession because of like real financial things, or do you think we're in a recession because everybody keeps fucking saying it?
I think that I think both. I think it's a weird duo. I think they both play into each other. I think that the more people talk about it, the more it's a thing.
It's like they're manifesting the recession.
Yes. Yeah. And I sometimes also believe that, is there really one, or is it the government saying that?
That's what I mean, bro. Because
you just
we
never
just had
know.
COVID, though.
The
fucking world turned off.
But the world turned off and made everybody wear masks. And now masks by Dr. Fauci are proven that they didn't work. It's hard to even trust or follow things, I guess, at this point, because.
But that's the thing that triggers me every time is like, we literally stopped. The world stopped. Yeah. No commerce, okay, other than corporate whatever. So how the hell is there a recession? Like, why is there bad times coming when we just fucking had it?
And people were buying more than they ever were buying.
I just don't get it, bro.
I honestly think it's because they gave so much money during COVID.
So we're paying it back.
I don't know if you got money during COVID. I had neighbors that were getting physically $3,000 a week.
What?
A
I just got
week.
that check.
Did you hear that?
You know that check?
A week.
No, I didn't get that.
$12,000 a month.
Damn. I just got that check. You know, what was it, the $1,200 check?
You just got that?
No. Like, that's all I got. Was that
I mean,
you
I
know,
got that too. But if you were
Right.
unemployed and you filed for unemployment through Pennsylvania unemployment for the pandemic, it was the pandemic unemployment. You got a lot of money, and a lot of people opened businesses actually with that money. And now a lot of those, I was reading, a lot of those businesses are in trouble because they used the money to open businesses and they weren't supposed to. There was this whole thing that I guess now they're investigating where money went, because a lot of money went that wasn't supposed to.
Where was the money supposed to go?
I don't know. I really
Like,
don't
wouldn't
know.
you, like, if you were a government and the money you gave to somebody created a business, thus creating more taxes for you, wouldn't you want them to better
Apparently,
themselves?
it was to pay bills, because a lot of 90% of all the companies were pausing everybody,
Right.
or
Remember that.
deferring you, or you didn't have to
Yeah.
pay until you did get your unemployment, and my neighbor didn't pay rent for months and months and months, and then when they finally got their pay, they got I think it was like $15,000, and it was all gone in like a week because they had to back pay car payments, insurance, cell phone bills, electric, like all kind of different things. And that's what I think it was really for. I think that's why all the companies were so willing to let people go for so long, because they knew that the government was going to give them all money and they were going to get paid. I don't know. I could be
So
wrong.
the people that didn't pay and used it to better themselves against
Oh yeah. I mean, if you would have seen the lines to Louis Vuitton over COVID, it was Louis Vuitton and any of those designer brands and King of Prussia and that luxury wing did more sales than they've ever probably done in the history of them over COVID. The lines were out to the mall parking lots because everybody was getting free money. And then they were going to Louis Vuitton and Gucci and buying sneakers and belts and bags because that's what made them feel better at that moment. The world shut down. Let's go buy Gucci. I mean, like, it makes no sense.
Mark that one. The world shut down. Let's go buy Gucci. Which
Yeah.
is which is terrible, but like it totally makes sense. But that's what everybody does when they get their free money. Even when you get your tax return shit every year, you should be responsible. Nobody fucking does that.
Well, right. They say you should be saving that too.
Right,
Or
right.
putting it into a CD. I
Right.
wish I put my money into a CD 15 years ago.
No, Jill took my checks when they came in. She's like, I'll take that.
Yeah.
And she said, I'm like, all right.
Well,
She did the
you're
right
lucky
thing.
enough to have that.
Yes.
Yes. I don't have that little helper there to be like, Brian, chill out. But yeah.
No, she's good like that. But dude, man, I enjoyed you coming in.
Yes. Such a
bro?
fun morning.
See, we just
Yes.
bullshit. I love it.
Perfect.
I don't like having agendas, man. I like just having my friends come in,
just roll
talk
with
shit.
it. Yeah.
It's cool. But I did
Well,
get to
we
learn
could
a
have
lot
talked
about,
some more shit, but
yeah, I know.
We had
But we
to
saved that for
PG
we saved
that. Yeah.
We saved that for our little get-togethers on the
Exactly. Yep.
avenue, man. No, but I loved learning about the personal shopper thing. That's killer. I forgot you told me about that.
Yeah, that was quite the highlight of my life.
Well, you know what? Let me ask you this: why how the hell did you get like back here? Like what? Like
So
from that
after
to like art?
it's just so weird. I moved into the borough I moved into West Reading right before COVID happened, and I lived on 2nd Avenue where the community garden used to be located. And I got involved in that, and I got involved in West Reading, and I just really felt like being involved. I was looking around, and I'm like, why don't we have somewhere that we can go and do art or an activity or a painting place or somewhere that it doesn't matter the age, where you could bring in BYOB or food and just do some type of medium of art, whether it's glass painting, wood painting, canvas painting, stepping stone making, pottery wheels. I mean, I could go on. That really does do something to a community. Furthering art in a community literally has so many advantages to help the residents of that area, or just people in general of the county. I mean, it helps stress, depression, anxiety. There's a lot of mental illnesses, autism. I work with a lot of, excuse me, autistic children that it's really awesome for them to come in and use different mediums of art with their hands and just to be able to do their own thing. In a judgment-free zone. Everything about the art room is judgment free. And I just think that, that was something I really thought lacked, to go back to your question, is that how did I get to that, or why? I just felt that, where are we going to go do something? Where am I going to bring a date? Where are you going to go on a date with Jill? All the avenue offered at the time was alcohol and food and shopping. And the shopping is great, don't get me wrong, but there's nowhere for men to go. There's nowhere for anyone really besides teenage girls or the housewives. There's nowhere for the average person to go. And I feel like what I've given to the avenue, or brought to the avenue, I should say, in my humble opinion, because listen, my business could do so many different things to better itself. Everyone could, grow and change and better their business or themselves. But I truly think that was such an awesome addition to it, because there's something to do now, and if you're going to bring the kids and you and Jill want to, go have a drink at Barley Mow or Chatty Monks or the Beer Wall, wherever it is, what are the kids going to do? Your kids aren't 21.
Well, mine are.
Well, but I'm saying, like, in general, like, if your kids aren't, they're not going to be sitting there drinking with you. And if they're not, what are they going to do? Sit there and eat chicken nuggets and play on the iPad? That's not fun. This is 2023. Kids want to go outdoors. And if they're not going to be outdoors, they're going to be glued to the video games, glued to iPads and phones, like my nephews at this point. And that shit's crazy.
Yeah, dude.
They're not going to learn. So I went from Bloomingdale's to the art room because I just felt like where I currently lived, it lacked it. And then I ran with it. So
that's
here
cool,
we
man.
are.
I'm glad you did. I mean, I think it's working out. I think it's great.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, we're approaching our summer camp for kids. And then we have Art on the Avenue. We have Princess Peach and Mario coming because the movie just came out.
Yeah, it did.
It's the bee's knees, apparently.
Saw Little Mermaid last night.
I heard that's going to be huge, too. I'm trying to find an Ariel.
It was interesting.
It's hard to find. But, yeah, I'll have to see that movie.
You don't know any gingers on the app?
I don't know any gingers on the app. None. Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised. I could swear you could find one.
There's a few,
yeah.
But I'll choose a real Ariel.
Brian, thanks for coming in, brother.
Of course. Thanks for having me. Of course.
Yeah, we'll do it again real soon.
Awesome
dude.
morning.
All right,
Yes.
I'll talk to you soon.
All right, thanks.
Hey, thanks for checking out this episode of Fred Talk. If you totally got into what you just saw, make sure you like and subscribe so you never miss another episode. Check out the playlist because there's other cool people too. And if you can't watch all the time, check it out on any podcast outlet. Don't forget, your Uncle Freddie loves you. Peace.